June 9th, 2026. Anthropic launches Claude Fable 5, the most powerful AI model it has ever built. 3 days later, the US government shuts it down worldwide. Then 3 weeks after disappearing, it quietly comes back. But that's the part nobody is asking about. Why did the Pentagon clash with Anthropic months earlier? Why was Amazon, one of Anthropic's biggest investors, involved? And why did OpenAI's next major model launch under similar restrictions? Because this wasn't just about one AI model. It was about who gets to control the future of artificial intelligence. June 9th, 2026. Anthropic launches Claude Fable 5, its most powerful model ever built. 3 days later, the US government pulls it offline worldwide. 3 weeks after that, it's already back, quietly, like nothing happened. But something did. Was it the Pentagon, after Anthropic said no to them months earlier? What does Anthropic's own investors have to do with it? And why did OpenAI's next model launch under the exact same restrictions weeks later? To answer that, we have to go back further than Claude Fable 5 itself. July 2025, Anthropic signs a deal with the Pentagon. Claude becomes the first AI model ever cleared to run inside classified U.S. military networks. A $200 million contract and a milestone for the entire industry. But buried inside that contract is one paragraph almost nobody outside the negotiating room ever reads. Anthropic's own acceptable use policy. 2 rules, really. No mass surveillance of American citizens, and no fully autonomous weapons. No AI system that chooses who lives and who dies without a human being in that loop. At the time, it read like standard legal language. Boilerplate. It wasn't. January 2026. The Pentagon comes back to Anthropic with a new ask, not a request. A demand. Let us use Claude for, quote, all lawful purposes. No exceptions. No carve-outs. No red lines. Anthropic refuses. And here's the part worth sitting with. Why would a company walk away from the most valuable defense contract in its history? Over one paragraph most Americans would never notice, the Pentagon sets a deadline. Friday, February 27th, 5:01 p.m. Comply or lose the contract entirely. Anthropic doesn't comply. Within hours, President Trump orders every federal agency to stop using Anthropic's technology. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth goes further. He formally designates the company a supply chain risk. That's not a casual label. It's the same classification the government uses for hostile foreign hardware. The kind of thing you'd expect applied to a sanctioned state actor, not an American company that just built the Pentagon's most advanced AI tool. Within days, defense contractors start quietly dropping Claude from their own products. Not because it stopped working, because being associated with it had become a liability. And then, the twist almost nobody connected at the time. Days after the blacklist, OpenAI announces its own new deal with the Pentagon. Even Sam Altman, OpenAI's own CEO, admitted the timing looked opportunistic and sloppy. His words, not a critic's. Anthropic sues. A federal judge partially blocks the blacklist as punitive, but an appeals court lets most of it stand. The label sticks. And that's where the story sat, until June. Claude Fable 5 launches on June 9th, Anthropic's most capable model yet. For 2 days, nothing unusual. Then Amazon's own cybersecurity researchers start testing it. And here's the detail that changes how you should hear everything that follows. Amazon isn't just the cloud provider hosting Fable 5. Amazon is Anthropic's largest investor. $13 billion committed to the company. Those researchers find a way to get Fable 5 to surface real, exploitable software vulnerabilities, a narrow gap in the model's safeguards. Amazon CEO Andy Jassy brings the finding directly to the U.S. Treasury Secretary. The government's response is immediate. Fix it or pull the model within 90 minutes. The 90 minutes pass. That evening, June 12th, 5:21 p.m., Anthropic receives a formal directive from the Commerce Department. It invokes a legal term most people have never heard, deemed export. It's a Cold War-era rule, built for physically shipping weapons technology overseas. Nobody in Congress voted to apply it to a chatbot. But that's exactly what happened. Any foreign national's access to Fable 5, anywhere in the world, now counted as a controlled export. There's no way to check a user's citizenship through a login screen. So Anthropic has one option: turn the model off. For everyone, worldwide. Hundreds of millions of users who had nothing to do with the security, finding lose access overnight. And here's where it gets murky. Anthropic says the flaw was minor. The same behavior, they say, exists in other publicly available models, including OpenAI's. The government says a trusted partner found a genuine jailbreak. An independent cybersecurity expert who reviewed the actual findings disagreed with both. She called it not a jailbreak at all, but the exact behavior you'd want from an AI built to defend against cyber attacks. 3 experts, 3 completely different conclusions. Because by June, this had already stopped being a story about one company. That same month, a federal office most people have never heard of, the Center for AI Standards and Innovation, expands its reach. It already had pre-release review agreements with OpenAI and Anthropic since 2024. Now it adds Google DeepMind, Microsoft, and xAI. All 5 of the world's leading AI labs, every major model on Earth, now reviewed by the US government before the public ever sees it. The office has already completed more than 40 of these evaluations, including on models that were never even released. Then, on June 2nd, an executive order makes the whole arrangement official. A voluntary framework on paper, up to 30 days of early government access to any frontier AI model before its public launch. The same deemed export logic from the Fable 5 letter, just formalized industry-wide. Fable 5 comes back online on July 1st with a new safety classifier Anthropic built specifically to block the exploit Amazon found effective. They say in over 99% of cases. And by then, Anthropic was also quietly preparing for a stock market debut reportedly worth nearly $1 trillion. And weeks later, OpenAI previews its own most powerful model yet, a family it calls Sol, Terra, and Luna, shared with the US government first. Released at launch to only 20 organizations dot the same pattern. A different company. The gap Anthropic left behind didn't just get filled, it got formalized. None of this required a new law, no vote, no public debate, just one old Cold War statute, reinterpreted, one refused contract clause, one phone call between 2 powerful men, and 11 months, and now every major AI company on the planet answers, in some form, to the same gatekeeper. Whether you think that's necessary oversight of a genuinely dangerous technology, or the quiet construction of a choke point no one voted for, depends entirely on who you ask. But the mechanism itself isn't up for debate anymore. It's built, it's active, and 5 of the most powerful companies on Earth are already operating inside it. Anthropic held its line once. It cost them a contract, a blacklist, and 3 weeks of its most advanced model going dark worldwide. The next company that holds a line like that won't have an OpenAI-shaped gap waiting to catch the fall. So the real question was never who controls AI today. It's what happens the day nobody left is willing to say no. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to help support the channel. We've got plenty of more stories coming up, so stay tuned.